All right. Let's get this little. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. All right, so let's come to our comfortable seated position and take in full deep breaths as we prepare for our yoga class today. So I've been on this peak pose kick lately, and today will be another one of those classes. Today we'll be working toward Natarajasana, which is dancer pose. So we'll be including a lot of targeted warm-ups, so poses that will open up your body to prepare you for the main pose or the peak pose of our class today. So the first thing that we can do to bring ourselves into the right positioning and the right mindset is to create lightness in our torso. So whenever we come into any kind of balance pose, the lightness or the lift of the torso, so the ribs away from the hips, being able to do that. So think of this, the torso is lightly on top of your hips, rising up, crown of the head, spine, rising upward toward the sky is going to help you find that lightness so that when you do balance, it's going to be a little bit more steady. I mean, of course, there's other things that we have to take into consideration for the balance to occur, but that is just one of the things that will aid you in finding the most steadiest position. Whenever we come into any pose, but particularly balance poses, I find that when you have optimal alignment, that helps quite a bit everywhere. But again, in balance poses particularly, but more so when the body is opened up properly. So when you are allowing all the muscles that need to be open and have space, that's also going to help you find the pose in a much more steady way. So we'll be working with hip opening, back bends, and shoulders. So pretty ambitious class, right? For an hour, but we're going to get it done. Let's bring the palms to touch, thumbs rest against the heart center and bow the chin to the throat. Take in full deep breaths here. Just allow yourself to ground, to anchor, to find the stability needed in that energy of the earth so that as you move through your practice, you can be very connected. While you're rising and expanding, you're still going to be very connected and grounded to not only your body, but also your intention, whatever that may be for your class today. And then very gently begin to blink open the eyes, take in the mat, the floor, gradually the whole room as the head floats up. Now big breath in, hands down, around and up. And exhale, let's fold from the hip crease, fold forward, bring your hands to the floor, pressing into your sitting bones, lengthening sternum away from navel. And maybe the forearms come down, maybe the forehead comes down to the mat. Maybe the chin just comes to the throat, but either way, just let everything around here and surrender. So be very gentle with the body and just breathe into back and side body, giving yourself this opportunity to just be, just to stretch out and just be for a moment. Another full breath in and out. And then we'll walk the hands in a little bit, come up to a little more of an upright position, and we'll walk over to the right as you press into the left sitting bone. So the idea of the length in the side body is also going to be very beneficial in that lightness that we're creating through our torso. And then we'll walk through center, come on over to the left, press into the right sitting bone, lengthen all that space. And then we'll walk through center, hands come in toward the body, and then we'll switch the crossing of the legs. Now let's take the right hand behind the back. So the hand is resting between your shoulder blades. Take your left hand to the top of the right elbow and let that hand move down the back a little bit more, elbow pointing up toward the ceiling. Then we can gently press on the back of our tricep area to open a little bit more. We want to feel a little more of that space, not in the shoulder joint, but in the shoulder girdle. So you should feel it in the upper part of your spine, maybe the very front of your chest. This is going to help us with the positioning of the arms in our peak pose of Natarajasana. Let's release the right arm, take the left arm behind the back. Right hand will take hold of the elbow and we'll press it, we'll lift it up, and let the left hand move down the back a little bit. Again, we press the arm slightly forward, slightly back. We don't want to go too deep or feel too much of a sensation, just enough Then we can press and open a little bit here. And then we'll release, reach arms up overhead, interlace hands behind the back. Knuckles are pressing down toward the floor, tailbone to floor. Let's lift the center of the chest away from the navel, soften between your shoulder blades. We can lift the chin slightly. We're not jamming into the back of the neck, but we are finding a little bit of an opening here. As I said, back bending, so little mini back bend here. And then we'll come back to neutral. Let's fold forward again, but this time bend through the elbows. Now the chin comes to the throat. Maybe the forehead can touch the floor. Maybe not. With a bend in the elbows, lift the arms away from the back body. All right, that nice space there in the chest and in the shoulder area. Come back to neutral. You can either roll over the legs to hands and knees or legs and hips off to one side. And we find our neutral cat position here. Come through cat-cow. Toes are tucked, fingers wide. Big breath in, sit bones lift to the ceiling, navel in and up towards spine as we allow our heart center to sink to the floor. Gazing forward of the mat, exhale all 10 toenails into the mat, tailbone to floor, navel straight up toward low spine, chin to throat. Let's move at our own pace. So remembering to emphasize the opening of the upper spine in our cow, supporting the low back by drawing navel in and up, and rounding into the lower back by drawing the navel straight up toward the low spine in our cat. So just think of the opposite actions. We don't let the belly drop in cow. We don't round into the upper spine. I'm sorry, we don't drop the belly in cow, and we don't round into the upper back in cat. We're moving in the opposite directions. That's what's going to give you the suppleness in your spine. Cat, cow, perfect posture, or I guess you could say vinyasa, I mean, it's one breath per movement, but perfect movement pattern for pretty much any class or any peak pose, but definitely for the one we're working with today. Let's take one more round. When you get to your exhale, let's sit back into extended child's pose. Forehead can come down to the mat. Mine is up so that you can hear me speaking still, but you bring your head down and you relax into your child's pose for a moment. Breathe full and deep, softening. And as we prepare to find those movement patterns that will aid us in our peak pose today. So let's come on up to hands and knees. We'll step one foot back, then the other, lift it on up to Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So here we're opening the hamstrings. That's an important concept, an important component, I guess I should say, for our pose today. So open hamstrings, long spine, nice place to be. You can bicycle out the legs, pedal out the feet, sway shoulders and hips if you choose or not. Stillness is fine too. And then let's take a moment to inhale and look forward. Exhale, walk or hop your feet toward the front of the mat. Fingertips to the floor or hands to shins. Prepare pose. Exhale, fold it. Inhale the arms around and up, palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Big breath in, hands come down, around and up. Exhale, dive it out. Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, fingertips to the floor, hands to shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold again, surrender. Inhale the arms around and up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, heart center. One more time like that. Just a basic sun breath, surrendering into our forward bend, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, prepare. Exhale, surrender once again, forward bend. Inhale, arms around and up, palms to touch. Heart center on the exhale. Let's add in a lunge. Inhale, hands down, around and up. Exhale, dive it out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left foot steps straight back behind you. Shimmy it back. Go really far. You're in a low lunge, and then you release that knee, and now you're in supported lunge with the leg on a nice angle. Top of the foot flat. Heel toe, right foot as far forward as you can, and press through it. So the right knee is over the right ankle, and we're really sinking into the left hip. Keep your hands on the floor so that it's a little bit, I don't say easy, but a little more easeful as you really go deep. You really want to get the quad, so the front of your thigh, and the psoas, so the front of the hip you'll feel mostly. That's going to prepare us for the back leg of Natarajasana. So getting into a nice opening there. Now, we can bring our foot back a tiny little bit, but it's pretty deep for the twist. So just adjust it. Still have it on an angle though. I like to use a block for this. You don't have to though. If you have a block, use the block. We'll keep your hand on the floor, but I like to use it on the highest level. And then we'll have the left hand on the block or the floor, right hand to the lower back. Lengthen and then twist to the right. Lean to the left and twist a little bit more. So it's a little bit off center. Well, it's not off center. Actually, what it is, it's on the axis of rotation. The leaning back puts your spine into the proper place to be, but it feels like you're leaning back, but it does get you into the hip a little bit more. So this is done on purpose. Again, it's prepping us for our pose today. So just allow for that nice opening through the whole spine, side body. Very nice. Release back to both hands to the mat. Tuck back toes, lift back knee, a little hop forward, and then back foot meets your front foot. Fingertips to floor, hands to shins. Prepare pose. Exhale and fold it forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right foot steps back. Shimmy it back a bit. Release right knee. And then once again, we heel toe the left foot forward, top of the right foot flat. Hands can stay on the floor as we press through the left shin and sink into the right thigh area. Notice that my spine, I'm not rounding into my back, I'm extending. So I'm long. That extension of the spine is going to get you even more so into the psoas, the hip flexor. That muscle that you feel in the front of your hip, it attaches to the lower back. So when you extend your spine, you're actually extending through the attachment sites. You're not extending exactly through the attachment sites, but what I mean by that is that because it's attached there, it's going to stretch the belly of the muscle a lot more. So you're not doing anything wrong by doing this. You're actually enhancing the stretch in the proper place by extending your spine. And we'll breathe and we'll find that space there. And then from here, just kind of inch the legs a little bit closer. Right hand to the floor, the block. Left hand to the lower back, lengthen, and then twist to the left, lean to the right, and twist a little bit more. You can deepen through the left hip crease a bit more if you want. Maybe even take the left foot out a little wider. Whatever you want to do to really get into the torso hip. You might feel it a little bit in the lower back, but it should feel really good. Nothing straining at all in this position. And we'll come back to neutral. Now this time, come onto hands and knees. Now, if you have blocks, I would suggest you use them here. Or sit on your heels and bring your hands behind your back, or bring your blocks with you. I like to use the blocks because my quads are really tight, so the blocks help me to get a little more lift. So hands are on the floor or the blocks. I like the fingers to be pointing in toward my seat, but away is fine if that feels more comfortable for you. There's no right or wrong for the hand position, really. All right, so lengthen your tailbone towards your knees. It's going to create space in your lower back. Tuck the chin so you're not tempted to drop your head back and compress the back of your neck. Neck's not involved in this at all. And then after you lengthen your tailbone towards your knees, lift the hips. And then see if after you lift the hips, can you soften between your shoulder blades and shine the heart center toward the ceiling. Remember, you're not dropping the head back. You're keeping the head neutral or chin to throat. You're lifting the center of your chest, softening between shoulder blades, shining the heart center up toward the ceiling, lifting the hips as far as you can away from your heels, getting into those quads. If your quads are as tight as mine, this is not fun. Releasing back down to sit on the heel, bring the blocks off to the side. Step one foot back, then the other, and lift it on up. Downward facing dog, or of course, child's pose, always available for you. Good. Now from here, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or lightly hop the feet forward. Fingertips to floor, hands to shins, prepare pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale the arms around and up, palms to touch. Exhale, heart center. Wide stance. So you're facing the long side of the mat. Your pinky toes are parallel to the short side. Hands on hips to begin. Let's deepen through the hip creases. A little bend in the knees as you start. So deepen hip creases, bend the knees. Press your shins forward. That'll keep the knees nice and soft. Slide the hands down the legs. Now, some of us will keep the hands on the shins or the ankles. Maybe some will bring the hands onto the floor. Maybe some will come into yogi toe lock. Middle finger, pointing finger between big toe and second toe. Thumb around the outside of the big toe. Now, what I'd like you to do here is first lengthen, deepen through your hip creases and lengthen your spine, so sternum away from the navel. Bend your elbows to either side of the room if you're holding on to toes. Let the crown of your head move down toward the floor. Fold your body like in half, right? You're bringing your chest a little bit more toward the center of your legs, toward the wall behind you, top of the head down toward the floor. And the more you bend your elbows out to the side, the longer your spine gets and the closer it gets to the floor. And then we'll release, fingertips to the floor, hands to shins, lengthen. And then let's turn the right toes toward the front of the mat, straighten the front leg, and come right up into triangle pose. Coming right into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Now, from your triangle pose, let's take this top arm and reach it behind the back. So the knuckles are touching or resting on the lower back. We'll take our right hand for a moment, hold on to the wrist and draw that arm a little bit more over toward the right so that you can wrap your finger, the back of your fingers around your hip area. Roll the shoulder blade of the left shoulder blade down the back toward the hips and in toward your spine. Notice how when you bring your shoulder blade in toward your spine, your rib cage moves, you're pivoting, you're opening the torso a little bit more. And that's what we want. Tailbone toward back heel to keep space in the lower back. And there's your Trikonasana. Now stay in the half bind while you bend through the front knee, bring your right arm onto the thigh. We're in a supported right angle. Any one of you, you're welcome to bring your hand down to the pinky toe side of the foot for the full expression of right angle. You can use the block, or please feel free to stay right here with the forearm on the thigh. And then we'll unravel the half bind and reach that arm overhead. Get nice and long there. Then we'll come back upright. We're in a warrior two, hands to hips. Turn right toes to face toward me, left toes to face toward the other side. We're coming into a little bit differently, deepening through the hip crease, reaching forward, left fingertips, hand to shin or thigh, Trikonasana. So pretty much still the same transition, except one was from the ground up and the other one was from here, standing. And we lengthen and we breathe. Now take this top arm. We'll do a half bind, knuckles resting against the lower back. And then we'll take hold of the wrist, the right wrist, bring it around, staying in your half bound Trikonasana, shoulder blade of the right arm melts down the back toward the hip and in toward the spine. So watch that, in toward the spine. Look at my rib cage. See how it's pivoting? So everything's pivoting, opening up to the torso. And we do it just as much as we can comfortably. You don't want to jerk your body in any crazy way where you start to hurt yourself, of course, but enough to get more space there. As long as your tailbone is lengthening towards your back heel, you will be supported in your lower back. Stay in the bind as you bend through the left knee, bring the left arm onto the thigh. You're in a supported right angle, or of course, left hand to the block or the floor on the pinky toe side of your foot. And then we'll take another moment here, then we'll unravel and reach through the right arm, right side body. Good. And then we'll come back upright, hands to hips, turn both feet to face forward, step your feet together, and then step to the front of your mat, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands down, around and up. Exhale, fold it forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, fingertips to floor, hands to shins, prepare pose. Exhale, step it back to plank pose. And let's lower it down a little bit. You can bring the knees down lower to your bellies. Come to a baby cobra, lengthening through the sternum, softening between your shoulder blades. So a little baby cobra is getting into the back a little bit here. We'll do more of this. But for now, let's get a little there. And then we'll come back up. Two hands and knees. You can come to child's pose or come to downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, from all fours or downward facing dog, I'll leave it up to you. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, right foot between your hands. Now let's release the back knee to the mat. You can use your blocks. You don't need to though, but see if you'd like to. If you would like to start that way, have your hands on the blocks and start to heel toe the right foot forward, coming onto the heel of your right foot. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, you'll have a bend in your knee. If they're not, the tendency could be for this knee to drop down toward the floor and you'll lock out the knee. So you need to press your shin up toward the ceiling to make sure you're not locking in the back of the knee. You can stay right here working to be in an upright position, or you can walk the blocks, or you just walk your hands forward to fold over the right leg. And we'll breathe here. Soften here. Now let's slide this leg back so you're in a lunge. Now, once again, if you want, I like to use the block here too because it just helps you to, I find, to reach for the back leg. So let's now open up the same way that we would in the Natarajasana. So left hand is on the block. Let's lift the left foot, reach back for the big toe, the right hand, and just find a comfortable distance. And then start to draw your heel in towards your seat while you lengthen your tailbone to the floor and you find your back bend. My hamstring has been cramping. I do this. Can't do this leg. I worked my hamstrings yesterday, and I did this 4 times yesterday in my Hofstra class. So my hamstring has had it. But you know what it looks like. So you'll be holding that and you'll be able to open that quad. We'll see if I have luck on the other side. So we do that and then we release. And then let's keep yourself in the lunge. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the right and bring your left elbow to the top of or outside of right thigh. So keeping the back knee down, we want to twist so that we can really allow the twist to be the emphasis. If we lifted the back knee, you could, but then it becomes more about finding your stability and you might not twist as deep. And we really want to wring out that spine to prepare for Natarajasana. All right, and we'll release the hands to the floor. Your choice. Come back to hands and knees, child's pose, down dog. Either one is fine, whatever you prefer. And then just take a moment and breathe. All right, now from down dog or roll fours. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, left foot between your hands. Again, using your blocks or not. Heel toe, the left foot forward, come up onto the heel. Stay in your upright position or using the blocks or not. Fold over the left leg. And his hamstring is not happy. So if your hamstring is not happy, if you bend the knee, it makes it a little happier. And it's always about honoring your body. So no matter whether you're a yoga teacher, or whether you're just a practitioner, or whatever it is, right? Always honor your body. That's first and foremost. All right, so then we bring that left foot back. Let's bring our right hand to the block or to the floor. Again, the block, I think, makes it easier. Let's see what happens on this side. Bend through the right. Yes, that'll be fine. And then we start to bring the heel in toward the seat as we lift upright, soften between the shoulder blades and lift the sternum toward the chin. So you're squeezing the heel slightly in toward the seat as you lift into the back bend. So just think about it. This is, if you were holding with this right foot with the right hand and you were standing on your left foot, that would be Natarajasana, somewhat. It's the same shape with, again, targeted warm up. So we're allowing our body to open up in a simpler place, preparing for a more challenging pose that has the same movement pattern. All right, then we'll release. And from here, let's bring both hands to the heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. Right elbow top of or outside of left thigh as we wring out the spine, twisting to the left. And then we'll come back to center. Let's come to hands and knees now. All right, now, one more thing we have to do before we come to our peak pose. Spinal balance. So let's extend the right leg straight back behind us. And we'll lift that right leg off the mat. And then we'll extend the left arm. So first stage is just to press through the right foot, lengthen the sternum away from the navel. Exhale, knee and elbow meet, chin to throat. Inhale, we lengthen. One more time, knee and elbow meet, find the steadiness, and then we extend. Now this time we'll bend through the right knee, reach back with the left hand. First we find extension, we press the shin back and the sternum forward. We're not jamming into the lower back, navel in and up. Sternum away from navel, shin back. Maybe if you can, you lift your hamstring to the ceiling and you lift your sternum towards your chin. But remember, navel and up, we're not jamming into the lower back. We're opening the mid and upper spine and of course the quad and the front of our hip. So as. Release back to your spinal balance. Hand, knee on the mat. Sit back, child's pose. Breathe in and breathe out. Soften and allow the body to just be. And then we come back to hands and knees. And then from here, we extend the left leg straight back. Lift the left leg, lift the right arm. Lengthen and extend. Spinal balance here, and then exhale, knee and elbow meet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale, bend through the knee, reach back. Press through the shin and sternum away from the navel. So first it's long, navel in and up. Maybe we lift the hamstring to the ceiling and the sternum to the chin. And we find that openness there. And then back to spinal balance. Hand, knee, and child's pose. Breathe. All right. Soften a bit here. Breathe in and breathe it out. Now, from here, let's come on up to hands and knees. Step one foot back, then the other. Lift it on up to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step lightly, hop the feet forward. Fingertips to floor, hands to shins, lengthen. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, the arms around and up, palms to touch. Exhale, heart center. So I want to show you one thing first of what we're really looking for. We've opened up the body to accomplish this. Now, so just watch a minute. I'm going to have you watch me, and then I'm not going to do it, and then you will do it. I'm going to do it with the wall because I can't talk and bounce at the same time. Those of you who know me know I can't do that. So I don't know if anybody can. It's hard, but anyway. So what you want to do is you want to find that step. The same leg that you find in tree pose. So you're grounding into the left foot. So the right foot will do first. Firm the outer right hip and zip up. Okay, so let me just show you. So the tendency here is, so first of all, we want to take hold of the big toe side of the foot. So notice how my arms, look at my shoulder, how easy it is for it to open. If I'm here, I'm locked up. I have an internal rotation and it doesn't work. So you're going to hold the big toe side of the foot. But what the tendency is to press the shin back and let your torso come forward. That's not what we want to do. That's bound warrior 3. What we want to do is first, when we're holding the foot, we keep our body upright, tailbone to floor, navel in and up. So the first step is just to press the shin straight back, okay? Then, after we've done that, go a little bit more, then start to lift, then camel pose. Lift your sternum away from the navel towards your chin, keep pressing the shin back, then start to lift the foot up and keep lifting your chest up. Keep trying to draw this leg in toward midline, okay? So you're trying to find camel with your upper back, and you're trying to almost like find bow pose with the leg. So now you try. So ground into the right foot, firm the outer right hip. To start, bring the right hand on your hip. Let's bend through the left knee, take hold of the big toe side of the left foot. That's the first stage. So do that, just like I showed you. So you're holding onto the big toe side of the left foot. Press the shin back, lift the sternum, so stay upright. Then keep pressing the shin back as you find camel pose, lifting, lifting, lifting. Start to lift the hamstring. Good, excellent. That looks really good. Lift your hamstring up toward the ceiling. And once you have that going on, think head and foot moving toward one another. They'll be really far apart, but the goal is to lift up, camel, and open. So you're almost arcing, standing on that one foot. If you are able, you extend through the right arm with the thumb and pointer finger to touch in front. And that's your Natarajasana. That back bend and that nice opening through the hip and the quadricep thigh. That's your beautiful standing pose of the Natarajasana. You guys look great. Awesome. Very gently release back down to stand into Tadasana. Nice. Other side now, lean into the right of the left foot, up on the toes of the right foot. Take hold of the big toe side of the right foot. Okay. Drawing that, it's important to draw the leg in toward midline. As you saw with me, it likes to splay out. So you want to keep it drawing in and going straight back. So you'll press your shin straight back. Good. Yep, that's it. And lifting your sternum away from navel towards your chin. Find camel pose with your upper back. And then maybe the left hand comes up, thumb and pointer finger to touch, reaching it in front of you. Yes. Look at you guys. Yep. That's it. Beautiful. That's it. Steady, grounded, expansive, right? Yes, nice. And then slowly release out. Come to Tadasana, close the eyes. Now, when you open the body in this way, so when you open the proper parts of your body, the pose just kind of happens, you know, and a lot of you are able to stand in it and hold it for a while. And that's what happens when you are in proper alignment and the body is open in the correct way. The pose happens. The body allows for it to just be. So just take a moment here just to let the body settle back into its natural way of being, the natural breath. And then blink open the eyes, palms to touch. Inhale, hands down, around and up. Exhale, dive it out. Uttanasana. Inhale, fingertips to the floor, hands to shins, prepare pose. Exhale, step back to plank pose. And your choice, lowering to the belly or come onto hands and knees and just lower down any way you like. Bringing the forearms onto the mat for a little Sphinx pose just to kind of, it's a cool down, but not going straight to cool down, right? Because we did a pretty active practice. So now elbows are underneath the shoulders, wide fingers, lengthen sternum away from the navel. And just have a little lift of the sternum toward your chin. So it doesn't have to be a big back bend. Just have a little lift here. So you just stay there for a moment. Be back in 2 seconds. Staying there for another breath or two. Just feeling that openness, that lift. Softening the body. And then from here, let's very gently come on down, stack the hands, let the head rest on the back of your hands, shimmy the hips side to side. That's a way to neutralize the spine. And then from here, let's press ourselves up, 2 hands and knees. Take your knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Sit back, wide-legged, extended, child's pose. From here, let's press up 2 hands and knees. Step 1 foot back, then the other. Come on up to downward facing dog. If anyone would like to take a vinyasa, please do. we'll be coming into pigeon pose, so we'll be cooling down now. So if you want one more opportunity to do something that's a little bit more high energy, please do feel free to take it. Otherwise, just hold down dog with me. When you are ready, extend the right leg straight back behind you. Point the toe, open the hip, bend the knee, square off the hip, draw the knee toward the belly, and place. Right knee behind right wrist. Take a peek back, hip, knee, ankle alignment as you slide the left leg back. We'll deepen the right hip crease a little bit, maybe slide the left leg a little bit more. And then forearms to the mat, forehead to the mat. Maybe use a block if you have a block, let your head rest on the block. Or two if you need your head a little higher. And then just surrender here. So let this be a place where you just soften, right? We just soften and let go. So the body was opened specifically for our peak pose. And now we can start to allow the body to just unravel, unwind as we move into the quieter place. So everything that was stirred up, this is where we start to release it. So breathe through your posture, especially your hip. Any kind of hip opener does release a lot of stagnant energy. We hold up. There is a lot that gets stuck in the hips. So breathe it out with every exhale. Breathe out something. Let something else go. Take another breath in and out. And we'll walk the hands in toward the body. We'll tuck the back toes. You can come straight to down dog or come to hands and knees, whatever you like, and then to child's pose. So down dog or child's pose. You can pedal out the feet a little bit, leg bicycle out the legs, if need be. Depends on how tight your hips are. Sometimes you may need a little extra maneuvering. And then we'll lift the left leg when you're ready. Point the toe, open the hip, and bend the knee. Square off the hips, knee toward the belly, and place left knee behind left wrist. Slide the right leg back, hip, knee, ankle alignment. Deepen through left hip crease. And then once again, find your pigeon pose as we soften and breathe here. Another full deep breath in and out. And then we'll walk the hands in toward the body. This time release that onto the left sitting bone. Bend through the right knee and we'll come on up to a seated position. Once seated, extend the legs straight out in front of you. Place the right foot on the mat, knee up toward the ceiling, and open it out to the side. Flex through the left foot, arms up overhead, turn the body to the left, and then reach for the toe, ankle, or shin as you relax the foot, folding over the left thigh. So this should get your hamstring and definitely the lower back, but in a good way. So it should be a nice stretch for the lower back. Feel nice and lengthened and spacious. Walk the hands in toward your body. Place a right foot on the mat, knee up toward the ceiling, right hand diagonal to the right hip. Rise up with the left arm. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist to the right and drape the left arm over the right thigh as you lengthen your spine and then twist to the right. Finding all that length, all that space. Come back to center, extend the right leg, lift place the left foot on the floor, knee up toward the ceiling, and then open it out to the side. Left foot against right inner thigh. Rise up. The arms turn to the right. Exhale, reach for toe, ankle, or shin. And breathe here. Walk the hands in toward the body. Place the left foot on the mat. Left hand diagonal to the left hip. Rise up with the right arm. Twist to the left and drape that right arm. Back to center. Let's place both feet onto the mat, knees up toward the ceiling, and you can roll down holding onto the legs or not. Just find your way down onto your back. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Once on your back, hug your knees in towards your chest, rock side to side. Find this nice gentle rock. Nice massage for the lower back. And then circle in one direction. Other direction. Let's hug the right knee in toward the chest as you extend through the left. Right arm onto the mat. Left hand crosses right knee over the body. Let me twist here. Hands can rest on the hip, the ribs, the floor. Be fine, rest, fine. back to center. Hug the left knee in, extend. Left hand to the floor, right hand crosses. Left knee over the body. Back to center. Straighten out the hips. Hug the knees in just for a moment. Take hold of you can hang on to the calves, the ankles, maybe the pinky toe side of each foot as you press the knees down toward the armpits, toward the outer ribs. Ankles are over the knees, and you can rock if you choose. You don't have to, but you're pressing the knee onto the feet, bringing the knees lower toward the floor. Get into the hips. But also, because you're opening the hips in this way, it's also a nice opportunity to rock on the lower back and really get deep into that little massage that we do. And then bring the soles of your feet to touch. Press the knees to either side of the room, and then lower the legs down for a Supta Baddha Konasana, a bound recline bound angle, excuse me. So allowing for the feet to touch, the knees to open to either side of the room. You're getting the inner thighs. You can, if you have blocks, if this is too deep, you can place the blocks underneath the thighs. It won't be here too much longer though. So if you can just deal with the openness, see if you can do that. If it's not painful, of course, you need the blocks, then by all means use the blocks. But this is a nice way to just start to open up a little bit more in the hip area. Breathe a little bit deeper. Softening the body into the earth. Back to center. Hug the knees in. Rock solid, just like final time. And then extend one leg, then the other. Shavasana. Use a rolled up blanket underneath your knees, blocks underneath your thighs if you like. Take this opportunity to settle in for a nice Shavasana. Breathe here. So you opened up a lot of parts of the body. So now let's see if we can sink down into the earth. Support yourself from that, by that earth energy. And see if all that was stirred up from this practice, you can now breathe out through the exhale. Every time you breathe in, take in more prana with the qualities you'd like more of. Peacefulness, happiness, positive energy, forgiveness, whatever it is, anything that makes sense to you that you would like to breathe into yourself. And breathe out what's stagnant in you, what's keeping you bound. Resentment or anger, just any kind of negativity that you may feel inside. It doesn't even have to have a name. It can have a color. But maybe that icky energy feels black or brown, or dark gray, a dark color, and you just want to release it. It can be any color, and these are just the ones that I mentioned. But whatever resonates with you, to let whatever it is that no longer serves you, let it go. Breathe into it. Now start to deepen your breath, releasing breath and any last bits of tension that you may be holding in your body. Take a scan of your body. Notice if you went a little bit deeper than the physical body during that practice. That's Shavasana. Be able to notice the pulsation of prana. You're moving deeper into the wisdom mind, the witness mind. You're going even deeper and recognizing everything is one, moving into the spirit body. Noticing your own divinity, your own light of awareness. Start to invite some gentle movements into the body, wiggling fingers and toes. Taking your time, hug your knees in towards your chest and roll over onto your right side. Once settled, keep the eyes closed and press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Once seated, let the hands rest on your thighs, palms facing down for grounding, up for more divine energy. Either way, you can bring thumb and pointer finger to touch if you choose. Sit up nice and tall. Just take a moment here to breathe lightly, softly, easefully. Palms to touch, thumbs rest by heart center. Bow the chin to the throat. I thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. It was truly my honor to teach you. Namaste. Thank you.